Hey guys, this is DJ Fish for Fish to Go Movie Reviews. What? Something wrong?
That's the picture.
Welcome to day 79 of my 100 Days, 100 Movies Challenge. And today I have an interesting one. After having reviewed Carrie a couple days before, I got a request to review this film. And in that video I had been previously quoted as calling Halloween the scariest movie I'd ever seen. And I don't scare easy either. But since this is considered the scariest film of all time, I was well prepared. Now I had seen bits of the film here and there, but not in full. And my response after seeing this film? You're about to find out. This is a horror film directed by the French Connection helmer William Friedkin based on an adaptation of the novel by William Peter Blatty. This is 1973's The Exorcist. I'm sure most of you know about exorcism, and there was a whole string of movies that have been released over the last decade. There was a point where it seemed like every single year there'd be an exorcism of kind of movie. But this is the one that truly started it all. So let's take a look at the trailer, which I hope isn't too scary for you guys.
Somewhere between science and superstition, there is another world. The world of darkness. Nobody expected it.
All right, let's see what
Nobody believed it. And nothing could stop it.
There are no experts. You probably know as much about possession as most priests. Look, your daughter doesn't say she's a demon. She says she's the devil himself.
I'm telling you that that thing upstairs isn't my daughter. Now, I want you to tell me that you know for a fact that there's nothing wrong with my daughter except in her mind. You tell me you know for a fact that an exorcism wouldn't do any good. You tell me that!
Boy, have I been misjudged. The Exorcist is about a few things. 1. After dozens of treatments and horrific outbursts, it's assumed that a demon has possessed a young girl that needs to be exorcised. 2. Father Damien Karras has doubt over his own faith and personal beliefs. And 3. Father Marin is one of the most well-known experts on the subject of exorcism. What happens when you combine all of these three elements into one movie? Yeah. The Exorcist. Basically, the two fathers, against their own views and experiences, must exorcise this demon from this girl before it completely takes over her. Creepy. Again, I'm not the easiest person to scare. Fact is, I don't find the supernatural to be that scary. A personal belief of mine is that the supernatural or metaphysical have yet to fully or truthfully be justified. And it's because they are unknown that I find most of it hard to believe. That's just my viewpoint. But regardless of how I interpret scary or fearful, there's still no denying that William Friedkin has crafted a horror masterpiece with The Exorcist. This is a fantastically constructed film whose characters and specific elements heighten its context to sheer terror. Friedkin pulls a lot of cinematic tricks to get us to that sense. Through a strained visual eye, he lets his characters dictate our feelings instead of the special effects, which by all means work to their strengths here. But with Owen Roizman's beautiful cinematography, Friedkin composes images that turn horror into art. Just within 30 minutes of the film, I was simply spellbound, as if I knew this was going to be a horror classic. And its imagery isn't its only merit. The sound design in this thing is so good it should be taught in academic film classes. It's so cleverly paced and extremely visceral, especially when those moments of silence turn into oral assaults. It utilizes some of the most unique ways to take sound out of its usual placement and into different directions. No wonder why it won the Academy Award. And of course, let's not forget the awesome theme from Mike Oldfield. The acting from Ellen Burstyn, and especially Jason Miller, is perfect. Burstyn captures the hysteria as if the audience didn't have enough of that already. But her civility in all these situations is what makes her character interesting. And Jason Miller playing Father Karras envelops all these emotions that you only think about after leaving the confessional at church. Like, where do the priests go when they need to confess? And that leads us into the story. I'm pretty sure William Peter Blatty knew what he was doing when he was adapting his own novel into the screenplay, because very crucial fatalistic themes surround this picture. It's as if it no longer becomes a movie about an exorcism, but really a reflection on religion's effect on the human condition, and the possible paranoia that can come with what it can consume and not consume. It handles both sides of the spectrum very well, and it gives subtext to an otherwise straightforward narrative. So is The Exorcist the scariest movie of all time? Quite possibly. I was never actually scared, but I found many of the film's crucial scenes to be very shocking. And even though I could have looked away, I never did. The Exorcist is a mesmerizing, masterful film that can't really be compared with any other. It's one of the shining achievements of the 1970s, and now it's a hell of a classic. I'm giving The Exorcist an A+. It's certainly one of the best movies I've seen on this challenge. Thank you to username AndyThompson05 for this recommendation. And if you have seen The Exorcist before as well, I'd like to know what you thought about it. Did you love it? Did you hate it? And why? Leave one of those comments down below, and if you like any of my reviews or would just like to continue on my 100 Days, 100 Movies challenge, then you can subscribe up above. I'm pretty lucky to have gotten this far in this challenge. But there are still 21 more days to go, guys, so keep those suggestions and recommendations coming. And don't forget one of these guys. And once again, I'm DJ Fish for Fish to Go Movie Reviews. Movie reviews on the go.
That's the picture.